But okay, so let's start off with your Chelsea story, and a lot of people kind of wrote into us asking us this question, or rather asking us to ask you this question.
Right.
What kicked off your love affair with Chelsea? How did it all begin?
Well, it happened in two stages actually. Um, when I was 9 years old, I was sent to boarding school in Europe,
Hmm,
and it was although the boarding school was in Switzerland, it was a British boarding school.
hmm,
So if you in the late 80s, I went there. I think 87, yeah, 80, 86, 87. Um, I mean, if you're going to a British boarding school, whether you play the sport or not. I mean, I used to play basketball, but football was life because all your friends, the teachers, everybody followed football.
right.
And so obviously one followed football. My chacha and chachi, my father's younger brother and his wife and my cousins
Hmm,
used to live in London. So I
hmm,
spent a lot of time in London on holidays and stuff, and they used to live in Chelsea. So in the early 90s, actually, I mean, I just have these vivid memories of, you know, Fulham Road just becoming blue
hmm,
on the weekends because all the Chelsea supporters used to be walking to the bridge.
yeah,
And because they lived in Chelsea, it was just kind of natural because on the
yeah,
weekends or on match day, um, entire the Chelsea area, Kings Road, Sloane Street,
yeah,
SW6 just turned blue,
yeah,
and we didn't give much, obviously, attention to Craven Cottage down the
yeah, yeah,
road, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so it was just blue, and it just kind of naturally just happened that okay, we're all Chelsea supporters because you lived
yeah,
in that area.
yeah,
So I mean, that's where you started. I mean, I understood about the club.
yeah,
The Premier League had just started.
yeah,
So although at best they were a mid-table team at that point in time, but it was just because we used to live in that area that you
yeah,
supported Chelsea.
yeah.
Um, I got more interested in following it, particularly as a team when they signed Gianfranco Zola,
Nice.
because there was a lot of noise and press about Zola coming in,
Yeah,
and Gullit was there, and it was just it was just poised as this club is going to take off. And once you
yeah,
saw Zola play,
yeah,
you were just mesmerized. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he was just a
Absolutely,
genius.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
then obviously when I was in college in America. Then when I came back to India to start becoming an actor, I kind of lost touch a bit because
Hmm,
the EPL used to not be screened in India in the late 90s and early 2000s.
yeah,
So lost a bit of touch. So whatever news you could pick up, you followed. And then obviously once they started showing it again, that's where it rekindled. The first time I actually ended up going to the bridge, despite being a supporter for a lot of years, was in 2006.
okay,
As students, we never had enough money to buy a ticket to go, and you definitely didn't want to be standing in the shed end.
yeah,
And the first time I actually managed to go was I was shooting a film in London called Joom Barabar Joom,
hmm,
and in that film I played a Chelsea fan,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
and actually it was written as a Man United fan, and I refused.
Yeah,
Fun
that's
fun
Well
fact.
done, well done, well done. Best
Fun
use of
fact.
actor
So
power ever.
Jack Nicholson refused to wear a Yankees hat in Departed, and I refused to be a Man United fan. I
yeah,
said, no, no, you got to change it, make it
yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah,
And they got to know about it, and they invited me to the bridge.
yeah,
So the first time I went, I think it was I can't remember the exact day, but it was in September, and we were playing Charlton Athletic. And that morning we were shooting in Waterloo Station
yeah.
for Joom Barabar Joom, and I remember seeing all the Charlton fans come in on the train, and then that evening I went to the game, and it was, ooh, I still get goosebumps talking about it. The first time
Nice.
you walk into the bridge,
Yeah,
when you turn off the road, and the crowd starts, it's all good, and you can hear a bit of screaming, shouting, but then once you walk through that tunnel into your seat, and they were very kind and they were very hospitable. They gave me an entire box in the Millennium boxes,
nice.
which is on the West End. And the minute you enter your box, and they've got all their buffet laid out, and I had a few of my friends with me. Um, I took Arjun Kapoor with me, who was a teenager those days, and he was
Hmm,
there doing production on another film,
nice.
and he's a big Chelsea fan. And I just remember the minute it was 15 minutes to kick off, the blinds came down. Because that's what you have to do if they're serving alcohol, and then the doors open and you step out onto the balcony,
Yeah,
And the minute you step on, it's literally, it's like, I don't know if you guys remember DTS sound, but now they have Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
But that's how the sound
Yeah.
hits you. The crowd
Yeah.
is, and that
It's
was it, man. I was just mesmerized. I don't remember anything of the match, and that was it. And a few weeks later, I actually went for my first. I think the Charlton match wasn't a Premier League match. It
okay.
was those days. It was called the Carling Cup, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and it was for the Carling Cup. My first Premiership was against Liverpool, and yeah, it's just I've been there several times, and it's just such a magical place.
Yeah.
So that's my thing with Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just want to go back to the anecdote about Joom Barabar Joom. Can you imagine what the writers must have gone through at that moment? You know, like they're just like, wait, sir say request hai, ye change karna hai apne ko. You can't.
No.
Don't
It
write
wasn't
No,
like
and
Man
that.
United fans.
No.
then they were probably expecting he
It wasn't like
change
that.
the heroine, change who's paired with me.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was not a request.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no requesting about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, he's a Chelsea fan. Oh, I ain't doing this film. It was as simple as that. I don't think the writers knew any better. They were like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
we
They
just
must have
like
been
the
like,
flakiest team out there, which
yeah.
has good-looking people, and they're just known for looking good instead of playing good football. Man United. Let's take
Yeah.
Man United's name.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a London-based film. How can you have? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, most of Man United fans are from outside
Yeah.
Manchester. Forgot.